Hey everybody, it's me, Dr. Dr. Ellen Fitzenrider. I'm a chiropractor in Norfolk, Virginia. I've been a chiropractor since 1991, and this is a special introduction specifically for billers and coders. So if you have been poking around my website a little bit or have heard me speak elsewhere or on a podcast or webinar, you'll know that I was the recipient, along with dozens of other chiropractors, of an audit by Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield in 2018. There was the retroactive audit of previously billed claims, and then there was prepayment review, which is where we ran into a lot of problems um, getting claims processed. And part of that was because, well, that's what this webinar series is. Go to my blog page. There's part one, part two, and part three of some blog posts specifically for builders and coders on what to do when there are documentation audits and how billers and coders can help their providers with that. And then also a webinar that if you're viewing this before March 4th, 2020, you can register for the live webinar, which is going to be that day. If you're catching me after that, you can watch it on the replay, which will be an expanded version of this information for billers and coders. The reason I'm reaching out to you guys is I have for the past year been doing trainings and boot camps and have an online course for providers, specifically for chiropractors, but it kind of branches into other types of providers as well, about fixing their documentation when there are documentation problems that are causing claims to be rejected. And I understand for you guys, the painful part of that is you can't just go in and change a code and fix it, or add a modifier, or take one away, or do something with the coding side to fix this problem. It's a documentation problem, and your hands are kind of tied. At least that's from the professionals that I've spoke with. That's the feeling. And what I'm here to tell you is that there are things that you can do to help process those claims or understand what's happening faster, that you can do to help support your providers in correcting the documentation. And that is because there are things that you can do as the department that's trying to get these things paid and get denials approved, that have to do with documentation errors, that can help support your provider. Because I want you to think about it, is your healthcare provider, whatever discipline you're working with, their job is to be the healthcare provider, whether it's a medical doctor, physical therapist, chiropractor. Their job is to do that. And I have found there is resistance and reticence to reaching out directly to them to fix their documentation. And then I thought, how about the billers and coders? Because you guys are the front line in handling the EOBs and the rejections and the errors and what those codes mean, and trying to get claims processed and paid. You guys are the front line on dealing with this as quickly as possible, to have a protocol to do that. And that's what the blog series and the webinar is all about. So that's why I'm reaching out to you guys, because you're the troubleshooters. That's your job. The healthcare providers, they've got to do some work too, but there's a lot you can do to help support them to make that process a little bit easier, if that makes sense. So again, thanks for joining me. Make sure you subscribe to the mailing list on the tab, or if there's a button to the side, because you'll receive updates when I do new blog posts. Sometimes it's for providers, sometimes it's for billing encoders, sometimes it's for other, broader perspectives. So anyway, thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.